Good evening. I'm continuing today with what we started in the last few weeks, speaking about Emunah. Today we're going to go into some more detailed examples that I'm going to give. We are in between two interesting parashot also in the Torah that has a lot to do with Emunah. If you remember last week, just yesterday, we read about Parashat Shlach Lecha with the spies, and next week we're going into a parasha called Noach, Parashat Noach. Parashat Korach, Parashat Korach, it's all continuation of one issue. The last parasha before, Ba'alotcha, we saw Lashon Hara that Miriam and Aaron, not intentionally of course, speaking about their brother Moshe. Comes the following parasha, now is the Meraglim, the spies speaking Lashon Hara about the Holy Land. Coming next week, there will be Korach and 250 head rabbis of the generation going against Moshe and Aaron. So we see, starting with Moshe, the Holy Land in between, and again Moshe. There are a few interesting things we have to understand. First, we learn one thing from the parasha of yesterday, which is it always a repeat in life. Why? That בדרך שאדם רוצה ללך מוליכים אותו. In a way that the Jew is choose to walk from heaven, from Shamayim, they helping him to walk there. Not necessarily it's good for him. Most of the time, unfortunately, history proves that people made the wrong choices. And we don't have to go to history. We can search in our own life. Searching the last 20 years of our life. If we were be able to remember every detail, every step we make, and we'll be 100% honest with ourselves, we will come to the conclusion that almost all our choices were wrong. All our choices. Starting with where we chose to live, started where we chose to daven, where we chose to go, where we chose to hang up, which people we chose to go with, who are our friends, how we behave to our parents. Sometimes the shidduch that we made was a mistake. The way we raised the children, the yeshiva we sent them to, the business we chose, the partner we chose, the investment that we make. I don't have to wait for your answer. I'm searching in my own life. And I see if I could have returned now, let's say 10, 20 years backwards and start all over again, I would give everything I could to do it. So now, since it's impossible to get back 20 years of your life, what do you have to do? You have to stick with what you have left. And the worst problem is that you don't really know how much you have left. You don't really know how much you have left. Maybe a day, maybe a week, maybe a year, maybe 5 years, maybe 20 years. Nobody really knows. So since now we are heading towards the future, one thing we can gain from the past is that we're going to check all the mistakes we made in the past and we will try to correct them. Looking at the parasha, we see something very interesting. Korach, you will see next week, Korach comes and he brings 250 rabbis, convince them that Moshe Rabbeinu is taking control and he does things based on his own opinion. Yesterday in a parasha, we see that Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, if you are interested to send spies to check the land, you feel free to do it. But we all know that Hashem already told them that He's going to bring them into the best land, Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash, the greatest land on earth, the greatest fruit, Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash, milk and honey. It's interesting, you know, the size of Israel is smaller than New Jersey. But in such small place, you have all seasons. All seasons, for instance, there are times in a year you can go You can drive 5 hours, you come to the Hermon, you have snow. You drive 5-6 hours back to the opposite direction, that's the entire country. 5 hours you go in the entire, you cross country, 5 hours. Israel is all, it's finished. You go to the hottest weather, dry, like 110, 120 degrees. You drive back, you go to the snow again, in the mountains near Lebanon, it's interesting. Then you go to Yerushalayim, in the highest mountains over there, you have always the breeze, and it's not as humid. You go a little bit, an hour and a half, towards the west, Tel Aviv, all this area, Sagi, it's all very humid, very hot. Mamash, everything is so close one to the other. All season in one little place. But that's really not what makes it a special land. The special land is that Hashem chose that land from all the places on earth as the most important place for him. Not only that, from that little piece of land, he chose a city, we all know Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, to make a Bet HaMikdash there, on the Moriah mountain. That's where the Western Wall is. And over there to make the Bet HaMikdash, and in Bet HaMikdash there's a little place called Kodesh HaKodashim, the most important square in the entire world. The most important square. That's Kodesh HaKodashim, the holiest place of all the holiest places. That's Eretz Israel. Comes the nation, they want to go and search the land if what Hashem really says it's true or not. What happened? Hashem said, no problem, go ahead. He's going to help them, they're going to go into the land. And what's going to be from that? Another tragedy. They all got punished. The entire nation did not enter the land because of this sin of yesterday's parasha. So the question that everybody asks, if Hashem saw that that's what's going to happen, he should have come and tell them before, you don't need spies. I already told you it's a good land. You should have listened to me and trust me. What we see here, even the highest people in history, remember, each one of them was a president of a tribe. You know what a president of the tribe? Just to give you an idea. If you take all the rabbis that you admire in today's generation, all of them, you add them up together with their knowledge, with their traits, with their merit, with their mitzvot, with their Torah, everything you want, together, hundreds of rabbis that you admire, you enjoy to listen to, you enjoy to read their books, all of them together will not reach the level of one of these spies. Just for you to understand who those people were. People think it's people from the neighborhood. You know, they took 10 soldiers. You know, they put maybe some gun, rifles. Go and take some pictures of the land. No, this is something we're talking the most righteous people of that time. What got them to make that mistake? Who knows? Kavod. One thing that destroyed our life. Few things destroy the life of a person. התאווה והקנאה והכבוד מוציאים את האדם מן העולם. תאווה, desires, קנאה, jealousy, כבוד, running after honor and respect, destroy the life of a person on this life. Destroy it. From A to Z, everything. All three, desires, jealousy, honor, and many other problems such as pride, anger, all of that comes from one source. Who knows what's the source? The topic of the lecture that we've been giving for the last few weeks, Emunah. It all comes down to the same root. If you really have good eyes and an intelligent brain to search about all the problems that you have in life, all of them with no exception. You will never find one exception. Remember what I said, not one exception. All the problems that you, your friends, your kids, your parents, your neighbors, anybody you know, all the problems that we have come from one source, Emunah. Lack of confidence in God, no faith, not enough faith in God. We all have some kind of faith, but not enough faith in God. And we are paying the price and destroying our life from the time we're born until the time we live here with our own hands. And this is what the Torah says, "Me'arsaich u'machrivaich memech yetz'u." Your destroyers will come from among you, from inside. the entire nation, we are ruining it for ourselves. Really, if you really think, we don't really have enemies. We don't really get any punishments. We are entering a place, in reality, it's a field of mines. There are many, many signs. Be careful, danger, do not enter. We are yet choosing to enter there again and again and again, and we'll never learn the lesson. And that's why I don't have to tell you what's going on today. Look at the young generation, look at the children, look at the marriage status, look at what's going on about the crime, drugs, lies. I told you many times here before in the past, almost every person you meet today in business is a liar. Almost every person. Yeah, here and there you find people that are honest. But almost everyone is a crook. Almost everyone is a thief. Almost everyone is a liar. Almost everyone promises and never keep his word. People are not paying, and those who are paying, it's almost never on time. So many things happening in this world, all connects to one problem, faith. So really, for instance, if I had the power, the ability, not only to speak, like financially, to reach every person in the world, not only the Jews, to reach all the people in the world through the media, all these things that cost billions, unfortunately, giving them every day half an hour of directions. First of all, to prove to them, of course, that there is God. Second, that the Bible, which what they call the Bible, we know the Torah, but that the Torah is the word of God. Even for the Goyim, even for the Christians, even for the Muslims, it talks a lot, that book, because they call it part A of their religion. Remember, the Christians are calling it the Old and the New Testament. So the Old Testament is a part of the religion. Same thing the Muslims. So right there, between the Christians and Muslims, right there you have 2/3 of the world. And if these people will see some lectures about faith and about confidence in God, automatically it would affect the business industry, the morale of the people, how loyal they're going to be, how hardworking they're going to be, and many, many things will change in life. People will behave differently in traffic, in court, it will be half empty. You won't need that many cops. Today you go to a soccer game or basketball game, I don't know, sports, usually soccer game, football, whatever. You have 20,000 fans, 3,000 cops you need. Each 5-6 fans needs a special cop to watch over them, that they don't throw something, they don't make fire. It's unbelievable what's going on here. So many police cars all over, every block you see police. Well, why do you need all that? Who pays for that? We have to pay for it. We have to pay for the police to watch over us because we don't know how to behave. Why we don't know how to behave? Because we never learn. And even if we learn, we just learn it like we think we're in college. We learn it, it's beautiful. Tomorrow, what's with what you learned yesterday? You don't remember. The idea is, remember one thing, every time you go to a lecture in your life, right, it doesn't matter who the speaker is, there's always going to be something good in that lecture. Some lectures have more interesting things, some have less. Some lecture you already heard it in the past, some lecture you never heard, it's all new for you. But one thing for sure, if by the end of the lecture you will accept on you 1, 2, 3, something new to do, then you will have it. It's like you bought it, it's yours. If you do not accept anything by the end of the lecture, for instance, the speaker was speaking about doing something better on Shabbat. That was the topic, speaking about mistakes that people make on Shabbat. You hear, you know that they're talking to you. You finish the lecture, you say, Bli neder, as of now, as of this coming Shabbat, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore. You accept it with all your heart, and from tomorrow morning you begin to pray to Hashem to help you out with that improvement, you have a chance to succeed. If you're not accepting, by tomorrow morning it's like you didn't come to the lecture. Nothing. If you recorded that and you can listen to it a few times in a car, that's always better. I remember when I started, maybe I was the only fool, but I guess it paid off in the end. I was the only person that every lecture, I used to come even from Monsey to Queens to hear speakers. I used to bring a video camera of my own with a stander like this and film all the lecture. Until today, I have maybe more than 100 little videotapes of lecture from 13, 14 years ago. record the lecture. Why? I was very excited from all the new material, to hear, to repeat it, to see it in a video camera. And slowly, slowly, you learn a lot of new things. Then tomorrow you come to your friends argue with you, they talk something, you say the right word at the right time, you can save a soul. Just yesterday, somebody came to me for Shabbat, told me a story, that he was working for McAfee in Dallas. McAfee, it's something from the internet, you know, a virus company. So he was working for them in customer service, and through the customer service, he had to speak to a computer engineer from Israel, a girl from Tel Aviv, from the best neighborhood of Tel Aviv, spoiled girl from anti-religious family, completely atheist. He spoke to her on the phone, and they've been working daily, because, you know, there's a company that doing business with them from Israel, so she was his contact person. He was talking to her through the phone, through the emails, for a period of few weeks, and that guy started to become religious. Through the lectures that he heard, he started to keep Shabbat, started to put tefillin, so he was very excited. And he started to talk to the girl in between work about the lecture he heard last night, and this and that, and he gave her some things. And then she told him, "You're crazy, what are you doing? Be careful." God forbid you become religious. Few weeks they've been talking, then he told her, "Listen, I know that your opinion about religion is not positive, because you heard all kinds of bad things about the media, a lot of Lashon Hara, but let's make a deal. I'll give you a name of one speaker that I personally met here in Dallas, from Israel. He's 100% kosher. They're having a seminar, please go, I want you to go to him, tell him I sent you, give it one chance of your life. Go to that seminar, once, speak to him, tell him that I sent you. I want you to listen to his lecture." Yes, no, yes. He said, "Please, don't let me down." He sent her in, she went to the seminar. She was living in a darkness, but she has a very very potential soul. So what happened is, after the seminar, she was so excited and inspired that she started to get all the books of all the speakers. And what happened is, when she went home, she put it in a box and hid it under the bed. And every time her parents wasn't around, she started to take the books in her room and started to learn. One day she came home, she saw that the box is a little bit crooked. That means somebody found the box under the bed. And then her mother told her, "Let's have a coffee together." And then her mother said, you know, remember our friends? You remember their daughter? Yeah, what happened to the daughter? Don't ask. You know, she started to go to a lecture of somebody and she became religious. She's so miserable. The family is broken. They threw her out of the... the mother started to tell her bad things, you know, to scare her. She said, "Okay, mother, cut it out. You found the box under my bed, right?" She said, "Yeah, what's going on with you? Please don't tell me you're also becoming religious." She told her, "It's too late for you. I'm all in." That's the truth. Today she's strictly religious, married to a religious guy with religious children. Can save a soul. I told that guy, "No, why do you came to complain? You already achieved so much in your life, already, that your life, no matter what's going to be, it's already a success." Why? You save one soul. One soul. I once told you, become a tribe. This woman already has few children. And she's going to have a lot of grandchildren and grandchildren forever and ever. They all goes to his account. Why? Because he had an idea to send her to a lecture. You understand? And the problem is, we do not know how much we lose. We have so much around us, so many diamonds to collect, and we ignore them. Coming back to the parasha, Korach, he comes and says like this. This is how Korach got all the people to follow him. Pay attention. He comes and say, there's a mother, ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement to make. That's Korach. Korach is smart, almost like Moshe Rabbeinu, in his knowledge, and is the richest guy. Until today in Israel, when you want to say about somebody that is very wealthy, it's like in America, if you want to say someone is rich, you say he's rich like Bill Gates. In the old days, it used to be Ashir ka Korach, rich like Korach, because Korach was the richest guy from the entire nation. So he is very wealthy. He has influence, he's a smooth talker, and he has a lot of knowledge. He has all the skills. But still, it's Moshe Rabbeinu. Everybody heard that Hashem nominated Moshe Rabbeinu to be the leader, not him. But it's almost an equal argument here. He comes, pay attention to the story, and this is how it started. He comes and says, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear this story. What's the story? A widow with 2 orphans, 2 girls, no father. Her husband left her the field when he died. She has a small piece, like 1/5 of an acre, something like that. And she started to plow the ground. She started to put some seeds. Come Moshe Rabbeinu to her. Pay attention to this story. You maybe never heard it before. Come Moshe Rabbeinu to her and say, excuse me, ma'am, be very careful when you put seeds in the ground that it won't be kilaim. Kilaim means 2 kinds of seeds getting mixed together when they grow. It's not allowed. It's against the Torah. Moshe tells her, be careful. You have to be very careful. Then she said, okay. The next thing he sees that after they put the seeds, they go again with the donkey and the ox, and they plow the ground again, that they want the seeds to go in. So like they shuffle the ground, right? So comes Moshe Rabbeinu to her again, excuse me, I have another warning from you. What? You're not allowed to plow the ground with a donkey and an ox together. Either 2 donkeys or 2 oxes, not together. Why? Why? Because the Torah says you're not allowed to do it. So he's blaming now Moshe. He doesn't say that the Torah says. He said, Moshe, tell her, do not do it. Why? Because you know that the ox walk much faster than a donkey. So one suffers because of the other. The slowest one will have to suffer, right? So it's not fair. You either put 2 horses, or you either put 2 donkeys, or you put 2 oxes, but you don't mix. Comes the Torah, that's called tsar ba'alei chaim. You have to feel sorrow for the animals. And you have to give the animals the right treatment. So she said, okay, so now what can I do? I cannot plow the ground like this. Then he said, then once the wheat was starting to grow, she started to cut the wheat. He told her, hey, you have to give us 10%, Maaser Rishon, and then to the Levi, and leave some, whatever fell on the floor, you have to leave for the poor people. In other words, Moshe comes to her every 5 minutes with something else. This is the way he describes it. Then she says, you know what? I don't need to be a farmer. I don't need a field. What am I going to do? I'm going to sell the field. She sold the field. She bought sheep, male and female. She said, I'm going to have now a lot of sheep, goats, and I'm going to start having all these sheep. I'm going to make parnasa. I'm going to have milk, wool. So as soon as the first baby was born, comes Moshe and says, you got to give it to my brother, Aaron. He's a Kohen. Every firstborn that born from the animals goes to the Kohen. Took away the sheep from her. Then she said, okay, look, finally I had an extra one. They took it away. At least I'm going to make a living from the wool. The wool grew. She comes, she cut all the wool. Comes Aaron again and say, hey, you have to give me the first wool. Don't you know that the first wool goes to the Kohanim? So then she said, you know what? I might as well slaughter them and eat. At least I enjoy for a week or 2 before they come take the whole thing. So she slaughtered it. She brought the shochet. He butchered the animal. Comes Aaron again. Hey, you got to give me this part, that part, the cheeks, the stomach, the arm. You got to give it to me. So now she saw almost whatever she does, they come like taxes. Uncle Sam is showing up every minute, right? So she said, you know what? It's all cherem. 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 Comes Moshe say cherem, Hashem say cherem, it's all for us. All for Hashem. Give the whole thing. Now he tells the story. He instigates between the nation and Moshe Rabbeinu. So they took it. Korach had an insurance policy. What was the insurance policy? He was in such a high level that he had visions, almost like a prophet. He saw that one of his grandchildren is going to be a huge prophet. Who was his grandson of Korach? Very nice. Samuel, the prophet. The Torah comes and says Shmuel is equal like Moshe and Aaron together in his levels. Come Korach and says, I see already that one of my grandchildren will be equal like both of them together. That means I'm important. Hashem needs me, because look who's coming out of me. I'm not going to be afraid. I'll go all the way for the kingdom. So then, the question is, if that's what he felt, why did he bring 250 innocent people and drag them into the argument? Because none of them has that insurance policy. So what do we learn from that? Sometimes a person, for his honor, for his respect, is willing to bury everybody around him, his parents, his friends, his children, everybody, to bury them together with him, as long as he's not going to lose the argument and everybody will say, you lost, you were wrong. He's going to go all the way, and he's going to bring another one and another guy and another witness and another friend, drag them into the story, and in the end, what happened to all of them? They all were buried under the ground alive with all their belongings. In the time of Bet HaMikdash, there was a famous story. What was that story? Kamsa bar Kamsa. You heard that story? You heard the story of Kamsa? Kamsa was kicked out of the party. The owner of the party told his son, go invite Kamsa. There were two people called Kamsa. One good one and one not so good. One he liked, one he hates. One was his biggest enemy. The son made a mistake. He got the wrong Kamsa. In the middle of the party, the owner of the party sees his enemy sitting in a table like this. He said, what? In my house? Now, he said, get out right now. He said, listen, don't embarrass me in front of the people here. I'm going to pay for my meal. Ignore me. He said, no. I'm not going to ignore you. Either you get up now, or I'm going to scream in front of everyone. He said, yeah, listen, you know what? Don't embarrass me. I'm going to pay for the entire meal. He said, no, I don't need your money. Just get out of here. He said, listen, don't embarrass me. He said, no. 1, 2, 3. He got him out and threw him out of the house. That Kamsa was very embarrassed. Why? You should know one thing. The worst punishment that a person can get is embarrassment. The worst. In front of everybody, all the rabbis saw that this owner of the party throwing him out to the street, and not one of them got up and said, if you're throwing him out, we're all going to go. And he got so offended that he said, I'm going to take revenge on all these rabbis. Pay attention what happened from that story. Today I ask a person, tell me, what's a bigger punishment? Embarrassment or physical pain? So he was thinking. I said, you don't have to think, it's obvious. Embarrassment, shame, it's much more painful than any physical pain you can think of. What's the proof? Did you ever see a boxing match? How they fight, one hit the other? So you know, in boxing match, there's always a winner, but the other one, the winner is suffering almost as much as the loser, right? As just one person managed to stand in the end, but is half dead already. So what happened is, everything that you see has a message. The point is if you catch the message or not. Boxer A gave a knockout to Boxer B. Boxer B is already on the floor. They count to 10. He hears the ring. He hears the crowd screaming. He knows he's dead now. In a few minutes he's going to die. That's it. He has cracks in his head. What's the most important thing for him in this moment, when it's all beaten up and pain? He gets up on his feet. Always, pay attention. Always he gets up on his feet and go like this to the crowd. I'm okay. He goes like this. He just died. He get up from the grave. He goes like this to everybody. And then an hour later you heard in the hospital that he died. Or he has permanent brain damage. What do we learn from this? A person is willing to suffer all the physical pain that you can think of, no matter how long, to avoid one moment of embarrassment, one moment One moment of shame, he cannot tolerate that. So I told one guy today in yeshiva, I told him, you know, we spoke about poor people, rich people, what's better, philosophical arguments. The Gemara already argued that, what's better. But the point is that he told me like this, the guy, listen, you know, today when I'm already 2 years in yeshiva, I don't have $1, and I'm very satisfied with myself. I don't ever have a problem with that. I don't ever feel that I'm miserable because I don't have money. Here and there, when I need something and I don't have, you know, I feel a little pinch in my heart. And then an hour later, I don't think about it anymore. I'm not walking around thinking I'm miserable, I don't have a penny. I'm sitting, I'm learning Torah, I feel very close to Hashem, I'm very happy. So I told him, you're right, you, Baruch Hashem, got to a nice level, but you wait, your test will come. Whenever you're going to have to go out on a date, when they set you up on a shidduch, and you need at least, let's see, $70, $80 in your pocket, because you need to take a car, to pay gas, tolls, to pay for the meal, you're going to need about $100, let's say. And when you don't have that, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to go to the Rav and ask from him to give you the money. Over there, you're going to feel the embarrassment. Right now, you really didn't need anything yet. Whatever you needed, it wasn't a matter of life and death. Now you want to get married. It's a mitzvah, right? So you're going to need money to go on a date. That's when you're going to start feeling a little bit more embarrassment. Say, hey, you know, maybe you're right. So I told him, now I want to ask you a question. If you had a machine in a yeshiva that you go and you press a button and there's like a little circle, you have to put your head inside, you press, you want $100, and the machine says, no problem, everyone who wants $100 goes, put his head in, and the machine gives you such a box in your face, boom, to your face, but right away after that, $100 fall to your hand. And I told him, what do you prefer? You prefer to put your head for a second and get the patch in your face and get $100, or to go to a person, anybody here, and say, I need $100, can you help me out? What do you prefer? You say, what's the question? I prefer to get even two patches, with just not to ask from someone. So that what do you see here? This is an embarrassment. But what's the reason that people are embarrassed to ask for help from other people? Who knows? Why people are embarrassed? Why? Pride. That's the bottom line. Pride. They have pride. I'm going to ask for donation. I have a pride. I'm not going to put myself down like this. No, people will talk about me and this and that. But it all comes down to the same thing. If this person had faith, 100% in Hashem, that he knew, En od milvado, there's only me and Hashem in the world, the rest is illusion, I don't care, nobody, what they say, what they don't say, what they do for me, against me, for me, it's all nonsense. There's one captain and he moves the boat according to his wishes. If a person gets to this level, then what's the point of embarrassment? What's the pride for? The pride will not help anything. Why? Because anyway it's nothing for me. I'm nothing here, you understand? So the point is like this. Kamsa, he wanted to take revenge against the entire group of rabbis. So he went to the Romans and he told the Romans, listen, those Jews always rebel against you. And they think, even though you're the king, that you are like second class. You want to get a proof? Get a goat, give it to me, I'm going to take it to the Jews to sacrifice it in Bet HaMikdash. And you see that because it belongs to you, you're a goy, they're not going to sacrifice your goat. The truth is that it was a lie. Why? Because goyim that brought a gift to Bet HaMikdash, they sacrificed their goats, right? But this Kamsa, what he did, he took the lip of the goat and cut it. Any animal that is not perfect cannot go on the altar. So they brought it to the Kohanim in Bet HaMikdash, comes the rabbis, they see what to do, they don't know what to do now. Hashem say, only perfect animals go on the Mizbeach. So what are we going to do? If we're going to sacrifice it with the cat, we have a problem with Hashem. If we don't sacrifice it, we have a problem with the Romans. What are we going to do? What was the right thing to do? What was the right thing to do? Huh? The right thing was to do is to sacrifice it. Why? Because pikuach nefesh, when there's a danger to the life of any Jews, right there the Torah has been put on hold. After the danger is over, everything goes back on schedule. But they did not sacrifice it, and that's how they started all the problems and they destroyed the Bet HaMikdash. You understand? So what do you see? For a moment of embarrassment that Jew got in that party, and the anger for that embarrassment that he got in front of all the rabbis, what was the results of that? He went and took revenge and didn't care that the Bet HaMikdash will be destroyed. You understand? So what do you see here? This is what the Gemara says, that honor and respect, if a person is running after it, it destroys his life, and sometimes the life of others. I want to continue. Giving you some interesting information about this life. First, who knows how do you say a word in the holy language? Olam. Why the Olam called Olam? Rami, it's a question for you. Why Olam called Olam? Oh, beautiful. Because Olam, it comes from the word Ne'elam, disappeared, missing, mystery. You don't really know what's going on. Once a person is born to this life, by looking at what's going on in the world, everything looks like a mystery. Rich, poor, sick, healthy. All kinds of things going around. Single, married, divorced, happily married, not happily married. Happily married, not that many anymore, but there are some. He's wondering what's going on here. What's going on? One person black, one white, one short, one tall, one... So many things around. So right away he has millions of questions. Who needs all these animals? What do we need these butterflies? What do we need those bugs? All these insects? So many things in the world that it seems to you that who needs this? David HaMelech was asking questions like this. But the world, it's too complicated to understand. No matter how much you're going to learn by yourself about the world, even trillions of years, perhaps you won't understand 1% of the brilliance of the creation. Not only that, when you come to learn the creation of the world in Genesis, right there in the beginning of Bereshit, you come to learn about the creation of the world, comes Chazal, and also Ramban and many other great ones were speaking about it, that it's not so recommended to dig so much in the story of the creation. Why? The more you try to understand, the more confused you're going to be. It's such a complicated thing, the creation of the world, that people may think that they are able to understand. The Gemara in Masechet Chagiga, Perek Bet, in the second chapter, the Gemara says like this: there are 4 things that a person, if he's digging into it, it would be better off for him not to be created. 1, what was here before the world was created? If a person always thinking, before Hashem created us, before He created the world, what was really here? What was in space? What was Hashem doing? When did Hashem started? All these questions that everybody wondering, how is it possible? If a person is thinking about those questions, it would be better off not to be created, not to come to this world. That's how bad, which means it's very not recommended. Second, what would be after this world? After this world will be destroyed, after all the prophecy will be over, the resurrection of the dead, the Mashiach, this, once Hashem will finish the material world, what's going to be after? It's very difficult to know. If a person's starting to understand and try to understand that, it will drive him crazy. He won't be able to. We had a seminar about 2 weeks ago, and one person asked a similar question to this. And the speaker, Rabbi Neugershel, he answered him like this. He told him, look, just the fact that there are certain things in this life about the entire creation, what was here before and after, and the ways of God, that we don't understand, it's a very good sign. Why? Because Hashem programmed and created us in a way that we will be limited up to a certain line. Up to here you can achieve with your efforts and learning and brilliance. The more you're going to learn, there's a limit to how much you can reach. If you're going to try to go beyond that line, you're going to only damage yourself. Why? Because your computer is not capable of having this information in. It's not going to, computer will not understand it. It's like putting a different language in a computer. The computer doesn't know what to do. So the fact that we don't understand God makes him what he is, so perfect and so great. If everything about God we would understand, that means God and us are equal. God forbid. You understand the answer? And that's basically an answer to almost every question that people have that we cannot understand. What was here before? Why Hashem does this way? Why the sky is blue? Why the earth is brown? Why he made that animal like this? There's so many questions that there's no end to this question. I can sit here from now until the end of my life and shoot one question after the other, non-stop, and the answer will be always one answer. Why? This is the way God wanted it. No other answer. Why is this? Because Hashem wanted it like this. Can you give me another explanation? No. Why? I don't know. Why you don't know? Because Hashem didn't want me to know. Why Hashem didn't want you to know? Because he programmed me with my skills based on my test in life. The Ramchal writes, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, one of the greatest Kabbalists in history, came to this world for a short visit, 38 years, wrote so many great Kabbalah books, and disappeared. He was like he looked like a broom. That's how skinny he was, you know, very skinny. From Padova in Italy, very, very, very skinny. Hardly had a beard because, you know, the Italianos, some of them like Mexicans and Italians, they don't have really full beard. So he had very little beard. Age 18, he reached such a level, such spiritual level, that angels will come to him and speak to him. He had a Magid. You know what a Magid? There are few people in history that had an angel, a personal angel, coming to speak to them almost every day. Speaking to them, tell them. For instance, one of them was the writer of the Shulchan Aruch, Rabbi Yosef Karo. For years, when he was still overseas, and then even when he came to Israel, there was an angel, the Magid, speaking to him. He wrote a book, all the conversation that he had with him. It's called Magid Mesharim. One time, he got up at 7 in the morning. One time, so the Magid didn't come to him for a few days, disappeared. Then he came back, he said, where were you for a few days? I started to get worried. He said, you know why I didn't want to come? Because I'm very upset at you. Why? Why did you wake up at 7 in the morning? You're not embarrassed of yourself? Imagine if the Magid would come to one of us today, 7 in the morning. So he was always waking up so early. One time, by mistake, instead of waking up at 5, he woke up, let's say, at 7. So for him, it was the end of the world already. To his level, of course. To his level, don't get panic. To his level, the angel disappeared. The Gaon Vilna had angels. The Gaon Vilna, and one of them is the Ramchal. So the Ramchal, he writes, everything that is necessary for a human being to know for his benefits in this life, Hashem programmed him that he will be able to reach. Some of the things you can reach easily, some of the things with efforts of many, many years. But everything you need for your benefits to achieve great marks in this test, in this life, you are able to reach. Everything that is not necessary for you to know for your test, which means whether you know it or you don't know it, it will not change the results of your test whatsoever, nothing. Hashem did not make you capable of understanding. Yes?
Is it on a personal level or a communal level?
Which one of the things I said?
Everyone has a limit.
Right? Everyone has a limit.
Everyone has a unique level, right?
Yeah, there are certain people nobody in history would know. For instance, why did Hashem create this world? The best we can know right now is that Hashem wanted to benefit us. You know? Which means, Ramchal writes, the source of all good wanted to benefit others from his great goodness, right? That's why he created a creation with people like us. He created us, and he set up a system of rules, yes and no, with desires, for good or for bad, right? And because of that, right, he set us into this system, but nobody in a history ever understood, ever, why did he need that? So when you read the Ramchal, you say to yourself, wait a minute, if he wanted me to be here because he wanted to give me all the good, why did he set this world a hallway into the real world? As the Torah says, this world is not the permanent place. It's only a temporary place before the real permanent place. So this place is a place of a test. That means you have to work very hard to achieve a ticket to enter to the place where you're going to get all the greatness of God and enjoy spirituality and greatness of the spiritual creator. So the question right away comes another question. So if he wanted to benefit me, why he made me come to work here? He would create me and benefits me and everything he wanted. Why did I have to earn it? Who wants to go to work and earn if he can get everything free right there? So the answer is, Chazal says, because the nature of the person is like God. Because the soul of a person is a spirit, is a spark from God, which means he got the same spiritual traits of the Creator, which means a person does not enjoy to receive mercy and something for free. It's called bread of shame. He does not enjoy it. So if he earns it, he enjoy it. What is it like? Oh, if you come to my house and I give you a credit card and I give you everything you need for 1 month, I take care of you, I do everything for you. I drive you around, everything you want, right away we take care of you. After a few weeks, you don't feel comfortable. You say, excuse me, can I help you out washing the car maybe? Can I go pick up the children from school? Can I go do the shopping for you? Why? Why is suggesting to you? Why is so generous? He wants to do some things. Why? Most people are lazy. If it was up to them, they wouldn't want to move, make one step. Everybody would want to lay down, get everything free right there, people serving you, get all kinds of pleasures. This is the nature of people. Nobody really wants to go work. People have to work because they have to get what they need for their life. So the idea is why a person all of a sudden is suggesting to help. Why? Because he's embarrassed of receiving bread of shame. Because of that, it urged him to come and help, to volunteer, to do something in return, right? For instance, if you come, people knock on your doors, rabbis, they want donation for their yeshiva or for themselves, whatever the case is. Many times you find they give you some kind of gift, picture, a book. Doesn't matter, the gift is $10, $15, $20, you may give them thousands of dollars. What urged them to give you some kind of a gift? The appreciation, like I appreciate what you've done for me, I don't want to really owe you 100%, here, come take, I also gave you something. Why is it? Because this is the nature of people. So comes the question, I ask this question, if Hashem wanted us to earn, and he made us in certain way, and because if we would get it for free, we would not enjoy it, he could have made us in a way that we would enjoy it. You understand? Why did he have to make us with this limitation in a way? I don't know if you can call it limitation. Why did he make us with the feeling that when we get something for free, we are embarrassed? He would set us up, program us in a way that it doesn't matter how much we get, we wouldn't be embarrassed. You can go with the questions forever and ever and ever, and you come down to the bottom line. And I save you all the way. Already, the bottom is like this. Why Hashem created us, nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. But at the same time, we also know that Hashem, God forbid, is not a liar. And comes the Torah and promise to benefit the righteous people for eternity. No, this is people understand what it means. They would run after the Torah like crazy. Benefits you to eternity, to a life of eternity. And what's the purpose of this life? One of the most important things is, pay attention, the main purpose of this creation that Hashem created the person to search for Hashem and to try to be as close as possible to Hashem, to his Creator. How? What does it mean as close as possible? Not physically, because Hashem is everywhere in a creation. There is not 1 inch of a space in the creation, inside the earth, outside of the earth, on the space, and the eternity of space. You know, there's unlimited amount of space, you know. Like when you shoot a satellite, you shoot a satellite to the space, right? And then it's starting to circle around the earth, because it's programmed to go in circles, right? But let's see if you could you could shoot a missile that has unlimited amount of energy. It can go forever. I'm just for the argument's sake. So every hour it will go further and further and further away from space, from the earth, right? Would it ever reach a wall in the end that it would hit the wall and stop? No, it will go forever and ever. There's no limit, there's no end to how huge is the creation of Hashem. Remember, space is also something. So what happened? Once you shoot a missile, right? Once the energy of the missile is finished, what should have happened to the missile? It should have fall all the way down back on us, right? Why it doesn't fall? Because there's no gravity anymore. Only up to certain distance there's gravity. If you throw something in the air, eventually when the energy from throwing it is over, it's going to come all the way down. Why? It's a magnet. There will be a certain line that from beyond that line, the magnet doesn't work anymore. That means it's going to stay in space and fly forever. So for instance, if you take a person and connect him to a missile and shoot him all the way to space, once it's going to reach that line, and that person would stick there over there, it will fly forever, even though, of course, he's going to die from the weather and all that, but he's going to fly in space forever and ever. Over there, forever. It will go, it could be millions of years over there. Even if the earth will be dismissed, all people will die, there will be one person flying in space forever and ever. It could be bones, whatever you want to call it, but he will be there forever. So everybody here will die, eventually will leave this place and this world will be dismissed. That person will fly in space forever, because space will stay. It's hard for me to know what will happen with space, but this is too much for us to understand. But what we need to understand for our life is what the Torah told us. Comes the Torah, it's very simple. A, B, C, D, that's life. So one of the most important thing, remember, you have to work very hard in your life to try to be very close to Hashem. Not physically, because Hashem is everywhere. Everywhere you're going to be, Hashem is with you. As a matter of fact, when I just made that step, I stepped on Hashem. Why? Because Hashem is here, and He's here, and He's there, and He's everywhere. Everywhere you're going to go, He's there. Chazal says, Memalet kol ha'olam, is every dot in this creation, Hashem is there. There's not one place that you can say, in that corner, Hashem is not there. Let me go hide over there. Right? Like Cain thought Hashem maybe is not there. He was hiding. Right? So right away you know Hashem is everywhere. So if we already created when Hashem is actually touching us all the time. We don't feel it because it's spiritual. So the answer is not that kind of closeness. You have to be close to Hashem in all your heart. And this is what we say every day 3 times. You should love Hashem. You should love your God with all your heart. With all your soul and with your life, and of course with all your money. Money, not necessarily cash that you have, means every physical pleasure that you love and you have the ability to enjoy in this life, you have to give up, not to make one violation against the word of God. You are willing to sacrifice things that maybe took you 50 years to earn. If God forbid they tell you just make a little sin against Hashem, only one bite from this pork, and we won't touch your money. You have to reach the level that you say, no, take everything, I'm not going to make one step against Hashem. We are very far from that level, but that's the goal. Now you got to know one thing. Most people that are born in today's life, none of them almost knows the purpose of life. You ask everyone you want on the street, tell me, why are we living here for? Why are we here? Nobody knows. That's rule number 1, you have to agree with me. Very few people in life, from 6.4 billion people, very few people knows the purpose of the creation and the purpose of their life, and those happen to be the Jews. But not all the Jews. From 13.2 million Jews that we have in the world, maybe a million point something are religious. It means walking with a yarmulke. Not necessarily are religious, but walking with a yarmulke. From those 1 point something million, there is a small percentage of people who are devoted to Torah all their life, to learn, to be more knowledgeable. They are curious. They want to know the secrets of Hashem. They want to know more about life, about the creation, about the purpose of the creation. So they invest a lot in it. From all these people who learns in yeshivot, perhaps 200,000-300,000 all over the world, let's say, not that many people still know the purpose of life. You'd be surprised. A lot of people think the purpose of life is just to sit and learn Torah. It's a great thing to do. You can go wrong. If you sit and learn Torah all your life, that means you earn so much merits and points. For sure, you'll be very satisfied with your life. But there is something even higher than this. You know what's the highest thing? The highest thing is le'ahava et Hashem u'ledovka bo. To be stuck, glued spiritually with your Creator 100%, which means you and Him become one. Israel ve'atorah ve'kudsha berichu chadem. The Torah says, the Jews, the Torah and Hashem, it's all one thing. You understand? That means take all the souls of all the Jews, put them together. The Torah and Hashem, it's actually one thing, one unit. Right now, we are not feeling like this because we ripped ourselves out from that unit. The goal is to be back, to stick with Hashem. How do we reach this level? Pay attention. This is what it says, like this. The word called Olam milashon elem, because it's very hard to understand what's going on here. And there's a lot of confusion, because this is the way Hashem wanted it. Hashem wanted on purpose, He made all this confusion. As long as the person is not interested and not putting efforts to find what his Creator wants from him, he will never know it all his life. Hashem will not care. He will still give him life 70, 80 years, knowing this person is wasting every second of his life. He still keep him here. Why? Eventually he will tell him, you had a chance. He won't cut his test, knowing that this person is not even interested to enter the right direction. He is avoiding the test. He is avoiding finding out about his life. He is not interested to come to lectures. God forbid he's going to hear by Rabbi X or Rabbi Y what's the purpose of life and what needs to be corrected in a few minutes after the lectures. He doesn't want to know. So he's avoiding himself of finding the purpose of his creation. Somebody like this has no chance to succeed in life. No chance. Yes, he can have millions, but that's nothing really. That's not the purpose of life. He will never know it. And all his life will be one large confusion. All his life of that person will be one huge mess. No direction. Every day it's a mess. One day